Okay, so this question is asking us to calculate the length of PR, and it wants to give you answers to three significant figures. So we've got a triangle here, and we've been given the fact that it's an isosceles triangle, so same length. It's telling us it's an isosceles, carefully, so an isosceles triangle. And therefore this is also 8 centimeters. So basically then we have a side, angle, side, so an SAS triangle. We can use the cosine rule. Now, again, we've got to be careful, haven't we, because there are some formulas given to us, so we must remember that to look at the front of the exam paper when we're not sure of formulas and check whether it's there or not. And as we can see, then we've got the cosine rule here, and it's involved in a triangle that's labelled in this way. So we can then copy that formula out and we can use it. So we can use the cosine rule, and the cosine rule is linked to ABC, where we're going to say that that's the angle, and this gets labelled little c, this gets labelled little b, and this gets labelled little a, and therefore we can say that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cos of big A. In this case we've got the angle is at Q and the two side lengths are 8 and 8, so if we compare it to the original formula, then we can say that the length of PR is equal to A. So A squared is going to be equal to 8 squared plus another 8 squared, take away 2 times 8 times 8 times the cosine of the angle between those two sides, which was given as 140 degrees. So A squared is going to equal all of that. Again, different people do things differently on calculators, but my recommendation is that you type it in like this, so 8 squared plus 8 squared minus, now because we're taking away all of this, I like to put that in a bracket, so we're doing 2 times 8 times 8 times the cosine of 140 degrees, close the bracket, equals. As this is not our final answer, then we should write down everything that's on the calculator, but because we're going to leave that in the calculator to use it in the sum, then as long as you write down a fair amount of it, then it's not critical that you write down absolutely everything. So we know that a squared is worth that, and therefore the a value must be the square root of that. So a is equal to the square root of 226.0536. So a is going to equal PR, and that's going to equal the square root of that number, which is 15.035. So 15.035, 08. And the question, so we're going to be watching here, the question wanted 3 significant figures. So we need 15.0. Got to be careful, this 0 counts as the third significant figure. So it's 15.0. So again, a quick run through. The idea here is to recognise that this is about any old triangle, and therefore we've got several rules to use with any old triangle, which is either the sine rule, the cosine rule, or the area formula using the half AB sine C. This was a side angle side triangle, side angle side triangle given, and therefore because it's an SAS triangle, then to find a missing length, knowing the two lengths and an angle between them, we can use the cosine rule. The cosine rule in front of the exam paper is given to us, and therefore we can compare that with the triangle they've given us in the question, and we can see that the two lengths we can use are 8 and 8, and the angle between them is 140. So that's what we did there. We put those numbers into our calculator, being careful to put a bracket around the takeaway bit to make sure it all got took away from the other bits, and then we square root to get the final answer. We were careful because the question wanted it to 3 significant figures, and therefore we made sure we got 3 significant figures in our final answer. So that's the use of the cosine rule.